Hello everyone, welcome to the next video. So this video will be talking about problem reduction, and basically we will discuss more into details with the and or graph. Okay, so talking about the problem reduction, as far as our syllabus is concerned, so we have considered the search strategies, which are basically a representation of the or graph or representation. Now what do I mean by this or graph? So when we are talking about a best first search, let's say a greedy best first search or an A star search or a breadth first search or a depth first search, depth limited search, whatever search we are talking about up till now that we have discussed, we will understand that it will just have a single path, right? It will just have a single path. That means just one path to the goal. Okay, so if I'm having a goal state, so it will just have that single path which will represent the path from the start node to the goal node. Of course, the path will have all the intermediate nodes in between. Okay, but essentially we have to understand that whatever we have talked about the search strategies, the uninformed searches as well as a part of the informed searches, they basically deal with the or type of representation. That means such structures represent the fact that we will know how to get from a node to the goal state if we can discover how to get from that node to a goal state along any one of the branches leaving it. So suppose if I'm having a start node and all the intermediate nodes in between. Okay, so C, so let's say I have I and G. So G, let's say, is the goal node that we are talking about. So we will basically represent this particular path. Okay, so this path will actually be leading us to the goal, and apart from this, if we have any other solution, that means it is a non-optimal path, and that non-optimal path or the additional path which is leading to the solution, that also is singular in nature, singular or just a single path. Okay, so this we have to understand. However, when we are talking of and or graphs, so which is the primary topic of discussion for today, so when we are talking about this and or graphs, these structures or these searches basically represents an and or graph or a tree, which is useful for representing the solution of problems that can be solved by decomposing them into smaller set of problems. So if we are considering a problem and we are breaking down into smaller sub problems and try to find out the solution for each of the sub problems, then it is actually a representation of this and or graph or and or search strategy. Okay, so each of these sub problems needs to be solved, right? Now let me give you one basic example. Okay, and this example has been widely used in a number of textbooks as well as online materials. So basically, if suppose I have a goal which is to acquire a TV set, so this is the goal which I have, and in order to realize this goal or in order to realize this activity, I have a number of options available. So this entire problem of acquiring a TV can be broken down into sub problems, which will ultimately lead me to acquire this TV. So what can be the possible options of acquiring a TV? The first and one of the most easiest form is if I steal a TV set. So steal a TV set. So this is the first possible option which is there. And the second possible option is what? I have to have enough money to buy it. So in order to acquire a TV set, I have to buy that TV set, and in order to buy that TV set, I have to earn some money. So this will involve, the second option will involve two activities. One goal would be to earn money, and after that, what will be the next possible step that I have to take in order to acquire it? I have to buy a TV set. So since these two form the necessary conditions, okay, both of these are working together. That means in order to buy a TV set, I have to earn money. So this two arcs or these two steps will be working in collaboration with each other. That means earn some money and buy a TV set. So this is an AND arc, and it is represented using this symbol. However, since this is also a solution and both of this can also be a solution, so here I can consider that the OR arc or the OR representation is somewhere here. Okay, so the OR basically would be here. Okay, so this is an OR factor. Let me write it down with different color. Okay, so this is the OR factor where either this or this solution. Okay, either this or this solution. However, as far as these two goals are concerned, this and this goal and this goal needs to be realized or needs to be solved, so that we can finally solve the main goal or finally acquire that particular TV set. So suppose, once again I would like to recollect that suppose we have a bigger problem and we are breaking down into set of smaller problems, all of which must be solved. So those kind of representation is known as an AND OR graph or a tree. And the decomposition or reduction, they generate arcs which we called as AND arcs. So this is basically the AND arc, and it is represented using this particular symbol. One AND arc may point to any number of successor nodes, all of which must be solved in order for the arc to point to a solution. In order to solve this entire part, both of this solution or both of these goals needs to be solved, right? Simply generating one successor and solving it will not help. That means if I am having this particular node and from here I am generating the successor as buy a TV, if I am able to solve this particular node, okay, it will not sufficiently solve my initial goal, which was to acquire TV, without solving the other part of the AND arc. Now just as in an OR graph, several arcs may emerge from a single node, indicating a variety of ways in which the original problem might be solved. So here also it is similar, that for all the AND arcs, all the goal nodes needs to be solved which are at the end of those AND arcs. That is why the structure is not simply an AND graph but rather an AND OR graph, because it also has an OR associated with it as well as an AND graph and arc associated with it. So the name is given as AND OR graph. That means it might have multiple solutions, and those multiple solutions might have various AND arcs in it, and likewise you have to go on solving each of the arcs. Okay, so now talking about solving the AND OR graph. Okay, so when we have to find solutions to an AND OR graph, we need an algorithm which is similar to the best first search algorithm, which is similar to best first search which we have already done. So the best first search typically deals upon, or it typically depends upon only the heuristic function. So we need an algorithm which is similar to the best first search, but which has an ability to handle AND arcs. So best first search, it is capable of handling OR arcs. Now this similar algorithm is needed, which will also which should also have the ability to handle the AND arcs separately. Okay, so if we can devise such an algorithm, that means our AND OR graph is solved, and this algorithm should find a path from the starting node of the graph to the set of nodes representing the solution states. Now let us take the example. Let us look into one example through which we can actually identify that why simply best first search is not sufficient in order to handle the AND OR graphs. Okay, so suppose I have a node which say A, and then it is having B. So this is one arc that we have, or arc that we have. Then let's say I have C and D, and now C and D, they are a part of the AND arcs. Now here I am having these values as 3. That means the cost to reach from A to B is 5, then A to C is 3, as well as A to D is 4, with the let's say the path cost is equal to 1. Okay, so each of these arcs, they will have 1 as the path cost. All right, now suppose we look into this. Okay, now what should be our primary, if I'm using the best first search approach? Okay, best first search approach. So what happens here is, best first search, it is BEST. Okay, best, I'm talking about informed search, so we will talk about best first search here. So if you are considering the best first search here, so initially A will be the node, the top node, okay, which will be expanded, producing the two arcs, one leading to B and one leading to C and D. Now the numbers at each of the node, they represent the value of the successor at that particular node. Okay, so these are the value of the successors at that node, and let's say every operation or the path cost, as already mentioned, it is having 1 as the cost. Okay, now if we look at just the nodes and choose for expansion the one with the lowest value for the nodes, then we must select C, right? Because C has the lowest cost, isn't it? So if I am considering expansion of this particular node based on the value of the successor nodes, which has 5, 3 and 4 respectively, so which has the lowest cost, or which has the lowest value, which is 3. So essentially our aim would have been, according to best first search, it should have taken this direction, right? C, let's say B is here, so it should have taken initially the direction or the expansion to C, but the information, since it is available, it would be better to explore the path through B, since in order to use C we also have to solve D, right? So here it might have 3 as the value, but in order to use this particular goal or expand this particular goal, we have to solve D as well, right? So when we are solving D, what happens is, if we are trying to solve this particular arc, what is the value that we are getting? 3 plus 4, which is 7, and now 7 is actually greater than 5, right? So 7 is actually greater than 5. So considering this solution will not be effective as compared to the previous solution, or the solution using the OR search, because using the AND arc I am getting a cost of 7. It is not actually 7, it is 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1, which is 9, right? So this entire arc is having 9. So 7 plus 2 is on one direction, which is less than 5 plus 1. Okay, so now if I am considering here 9 is always greater than 6. Okay, so this particular arc should not be considered. Instead, the expansion should be, or this particular successor should be generated, or the node A, top node A, should be expanded in the direction of B. That means the solution or the traversal should be in the direction of B. B should be solved in order to get A solved, right? Now considering another example for the same situation, let us now consider the same example. So I have A, then let's say I have B, then C. C is a part of the AND arc with D. Okay, so B has another two successor nodes, which is E and F. Then we have G and H, and then we have I and J respectively. Now for all of this, we will be representing the successor node value, which is 5, 10, 3, 4, 15 and 10. Now let us try solving this. Now in order to solve A, we have to make sure that whichever path we are taking, we are solving along that particular path, right? So considering the expansion of A, if we are considering the values which are already there, and also the path cost or the operation cost is equal to 1 for each arc, since it is not mentioned here. For problems where the value is already mentioned, we do not need to bother much. We will simply use that particular cost. But here, since it is not mentioned, I am simply using 1. Now if you look into all these values, okay, so which is the lowest? According to this, if we are considering, then the most promising single node is G, right, with an successor node value as 3, right? So G has the value as 3. So this looks very, very promising. That means true A should be expanded to G. Now but it is a part of the most promising arc, which is GH, which has a total cost of 9. Okay, so if I am considering GH also, so I forgot to mention the arc here. So AND arc is this. All these are AND arcs. Okay, so all these are AND arcs. Now if I am considering G, this might look very promising, okay, successor node, but the problem is G has to be used in association with H. So if G is used in association with H, what is the value? 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1, which is 9, right? So 9. And if I am considering the other AND arcs also, 5 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1. So if I am considering E plus F is equal to 15, 16, 17, right? 17. And if I am considering I plus J, which is another AND arc at the same level, I am getting 25, then 26 and 27 respectively. So I am getting the value as 9, then I am getting here as 27, and here I am getting as 17. So out of all this also, through C, the value looks very, very promising. That means we should be expanding through C, right, for the second level as well, right? So the expansion of A, or the top node A, should be expanded through C. The successor node through C should be used, because in the second level as well, I am getting the lowest value of the AND arc through C as 9. However, having simply this solution will not suffice, because C again is a part of the AND arc, which is CD. So if I am considering CD, what is the value I am getting? 9 plus 27 plus 1 plus 1, which is 38. So this value I am getting as 38. Whereas if I am considering the other successor or other arc which is through B, what I'm getting the value as 18, right? So if I'm getting, because 17 is already here, 17 plus 1, 18. So if I'm considering A, B, okay, the value is 18, which is actually 17 plus 1. Okay, so I'm getting the value as 18. So 18 is far less than 38. So actually the search or the expansion or the path through B should be solved. Okay, we should either examine the node E or node F in order to solve A. Okay, even though the most promising successor node or the most promising value we got here was 3 initially, as well as in the second step also we got 9 and through C. However, this will not be a very good solution, because ultimately the solution is more, it is very high as compared to the solution which is, or the expenses which is generated from opting the other solution which is through AB. Okay, and we are just getting 18 as the value, or 18 as the total cost. So we should either examine E or examine F in order to solve this problem. Examining any one of this will not be of much help because of the AND arcs which are associated with it. Okay, now there is a factor or there is a value which is associated with AND OR graph, which needs to be exploited in order to identify, or in order to estimate the total cost of solving that particular problem. Okay, so that cost or that factor is actually known as futility factor. Okay, futility factor. Now this futility factor is actually a factor, or actually a value which we use in order to identify when we can abandon, when to abandon the search, or when to terminate the search, because we simply cannot go on searching, right? And we cannot simply accept any value that it is coming to us. Now the question is why we are using this futility value. Now if the estimated cost of a solution becomes greater than the value of futility, then we will abandon the search. So the condition here is that if we, whatever we have estimated, so the estimated cost is greater than futility, then immediately we will abandon the search. Okay, abandon the search. Now when we are talking about this, we have to understand that futility should be chosen to correspond to a threshold such that any solution with a cost which is above is too expensive to be practical, and if it could ever be found, if it could ever be found, it will be of not much use. Okay, so suppose, in order to understand this factor in a better way, suppose here, now if I would have associated a futility factor, suppose let's say my futility factor here is basically 20. Okay, so if the futility factor here is 20, so initially it will search for the nodes which has a value which is greater than 20. If there is, or let's say we will not associate 20, we will keep a lesser value. Okay, let's say I have a value as 19. Okay, so 19 or 18, since our value we are getting here is 18, so we will associate futility factor as 18. So when we are considering this 18 here, so first we will check for each of the nodes. Okay, and if it is less than 18, we will examine those nodes and move to the next possible step which needs examination. So here if we are considering B, C and D, so for this B, C and D, the values we have are estimated cost that we have is 17, 19 and 27. So 17 and 9, they are lesser than 18, but 27 is greater than 18. So automatically this entire part or this node do not need to be examined at all. And since this node is a part of the AND arc of this node or AND arc, this entire arc does not need to be examined further. Okay, so in that ways what happens is we will be able to understand that we need to abandon the search at this point as soon as it crosses the futility factor. Alright, now talking about how to choose this utility factor. Okay, as already mentioned, this futility factor is basically a threshold. Okay, and if any solution which has a cost above then this futility factor, we will consider it too expensive to be practical, even if that particular solution can be found. Okay, now suppose here if I would have associated a futility factor as 15, and even if I have a solution through 18 or solution through B or C and D, I will be abandoning the search of that particular solution because it is crossing the futility factor. That means it is crossing the estimated cost that which I can bear in order to complete that particular search. Okay, so futility factor is very, very important from the perspective of identifying where we should stop our search and consider that it is no more futile in order to search for that particular solution. Okay, now let's see another example here which states that, let's say I have a node which is A. Okay, so let's say I have a node here A, and here the estimated cost is 5. Okay, now after this, in step 2 what I'll do is I will expand this node A and I will be receiving this 3 different successor nodes. Okay, B, C and D. Now talking about, let's do it in a different way this time, because every time we are doing this. So B, C and D. So B and C, they have an AND arc here. Okay, so here the estimated cost is 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so now when we are considering 3, 4 and 5, and let's say the path cost is 1 in all the cases, so through which direction will the expansion take place? Through D. Now after expanding through D, let's say D has another AND arc here. Okay, which is E and F, and the estimated cost of this is 4 and 4. Okay, so this is another AND arc. So now if I'm considering this situation, again finding out through which direction the expansion should take place or which arc should be solved in order to solve A, we will understand that the value which is here, that means 4, E and F, 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 1 plus 1, it is 10, right? So D, which initially had an estimated value of 5, is now replaced with 10. Okay, and if we are considering the other AND arc here, which is 3 plus 4 is 7, then 8 and 9, so this AND arc has 9. So what happens? The algorithm will immediately shift the search or immediately shift its direction to this. Okay, so now no longer D will be examined, Now the arc through B and C would be examined. Okay. Now again, while moving through B and C, it was identified that B has another AND arc here, and the successors were generated as G and H, and this has an estimated value of 5 and 7 respectively. Okay, so when it is done, if we now have to solve this, what happens is, since in our next step, that means in our third step, we chose the direction through the AND arc. Now if I am supposed to solve this, so 5 plus 7 is 12, 13, 14. So 13, 14. So basically what happens here, I am getting the value which was initially, I was having a separate value here. Okay, so 7 plus 5, but now what I am getting here is, okay, so let me put it in a different way. So initially 5 plus 1, okay, 5 plus 1, so this is B, I am getting it as 6. So, and next one is 7 plus 1, I am getting it as 8, right? So 6 and 8, so 6 will be chosen here, and the expansion would take place in this direction, right? The examination would take place in this direction. So after this is solved, so 5 plus 1, this is giving me 6, but it cannot give me 6 because it is an AND arc with H, right? So G and H, if we are evaluating this, so it will give me 7 plus 5, which is 12, then 12 plus 1, 13, then 14. So now this estimated value through B is basically 14, right? And then 14 plus 4 is 18. So the value which was initially 9, it is now replaced with 14 plus 4 is 18, 19 and 20. So 20 is again larger than 10. So now the search will be shifted through D. So this is how basically AND OR graph starts working. It shifts its search from one direction to the other direction based on the arcs which are already present. Okay, this is very similar to the best first search. In A star search we have already done how we are shifting the searches. However, this particular search has the capability of handling the AND arcs as well with the help of a futility value. Okay, so if I'm associating a futility value also here, we will examine that futility value and we will consider that the search is not futile or it is futile if we follow that particular search strategy. Okay, now considering the algorithm of this particular search, so if we have to write down the algorithm of problem reduction, okay, let me write down in very brief. So if I'm considering problem reduction, first I will initialize the graph to the starting node. That means I will actually find out what is the goal or what is the ultimate goal that I have to do, and will mark it as a starting node. Then number 2, that is the second step, will be we will loop until the starting node, okay, the starting node is marked as solved. Starting node is labeled as solved. That means we solved the goal, solved the starting node. Okay, labeled as solved, right? And solved, or the other condition is, or its cost goes above futility. So if it is going above futility, that means it is no point solving that particular problem. Okay, so if it goes above futility, now under the loop, what we have to do is we have to traverse the graph starting at the initial node, following the current best path, and accumulate the set of nodes that are on that path and have not yet been expanded or labeled as solved. So we will traverse and expand. So we will go on traversing and expanding the current best path. That means with the minimum value. Okay, minimum successor value. Expand the current best path and accumulate those nodes there. Accumulate the nodes. Okay, then we will pick one of the unexpanded nodes and expand it, and if there are no successors, we will assign futility as the value of this node. Okay, so we will pick one of the unexpanded nodes and if there are if there are no expanded node, no successors, we shall assign its value as the futility. Okay, and the third factor is, now we will change the estimated value of the newly expanded node to reflect the new information provided by the successors. Okay, so we will we will change the estimated value of the newly expanded node with the new information, which will help us to expand the node and which will help us to select the direction of the search. Okay, and this might also lead to the current best path to change. Okay, so this might, I will write it down, so this might change the current best path. Okay, so this is how the problem reduction or and or algorithm works. Okay, so we will understand this better when we do AO star algorithm, and we will basically identify how an optimal and or graph can be solved, or how an and or graph can be solved optimally. Now there are certain things which are associated with the and or graph. Okay, the first point is a longer path may be better, right? So in this there is one condition which states that a longer path may be better. Now suppose I have a situation something like this: A, B, then I have C, then let's say I have D, and I have E, and I have F, then let's say G, then H, again I have I and J, E is connected to J, and D is marked as unsolvable. Now suppose we need to reach E. So let us consider E as the point where we need to reach from A. So if we need to reach E from A, the shortest path here, okay, this was the condition, the shortest path here is through C, right? But since C is a part of the AND arc which is also considering D, okay, so C and D, they are connected with the AND arc, right? And D, what is the problem with D? D is unsolvable, so we cannot solve D, right? But we can solve C, but merely solving C will not help us to reach E, because without the solution of D, this entire arc will not be able to help us in order to reach E. Hence, I cannot consider this route at all. Instead, I have to take a longer path which is through this particular direction. Okay, so this is one condition which of AND OR graph, which is that if a part of the AND arc is not solvable or unsolvable, it will never lead us to the solution. Instead, we have to take a longer path. Okay, and the second important point that we have to remember about AND OR graph or problem reduction is it fails to take into account the interaction between subgoals. Now when we are talking about interaction between subgoals, if I have something like this, okay, let's say B, then D and E, these two have an AND arc, and this was having 5 and this is having 2. Now suppose in order to solve A now, yes, so in order to solve A, both B and D needs to be solved. Now when we are considering this, okay, if we are considering this particular scenario, both of them must be solved, but then the algorithm considers the solution of D as a completely separate process from the solution of B. Now looking just at the alternatives from D, E is the best path, right? E is the best path because it is most promising, because it has the lowest successor value or lowest estimated value. But it turns out that B is necessary anyway, so it would be better also to use it to satisfy D. So if we are making use of B also in order to satisfy D, then it will give us a better outcome, right? Instead of just considering this entire process to be a separate one, since E is most promising, we have to consider the subgoal which is B in order to solve this path, right? But the algorithm does not help us, or it does not facilitate us with the interacting subgoals. So interacting subgoals is basically not entertained here. Interacting subgoals will not be allowed here, okay? Or so in this scenario the algorithm will fail, because we will not be able to consider, or the algorithm will not be considering the sub goals which have an interaction with each other. Okay, so these are the two different points which are associated with AND OR graph, and we will talk more into optimal AND OR graph using the AO star algorithm in my next video. So this is all for today's session. So we talked about how this AND OR graph works, and how best first search is basically not the right way in order to solve these kind of problems which has multiple sub goals which are associated with each other, okay, in the form of AND arcs, and how we can solve this. okay, and how the searches shift from one best part to the other best part in or until and unless it finally solves the main purpose. So that is all for today. We will talk more into details in my next video. Thank you.